This is really heavy. But it's a beautiful award, and I thank you so very much. I'm going to just set it down right here. I can't remember a time when I wasn't taking pictures or writing stories. My first influences actually had to be my dad and my maternal grandmother. My dad actually was a Pullman porter in his youth and traveled around the country and was always very fascinated by what he saw. And when I was a young kid, he bought this 8 millimeter Bell and Howell movie camera, the kind that doesn't record sound. And I used to find myself narrating the footage of me and my mother dressed to the nines in our Sunday best as we headed out to Mount Zion Baptist Church each and every Sunday. So, hence the start of my journalism career. Like my dad, my grandmother loved to travel and always packed her Kodak Brownie whenever she went on one of her bus trips with her girls. They went all over the place. And I still have some of the photos she took of her friends and all the places they went. And I love those old black and white photos as they tell unique stories of middle-aged black women breaking out of their box. It was all about the sisterhood and the adventure. Mom, as we called my grandmother, had a pretty good eye for detail too. But as much as she loved taking pictures, she loved being in them even more. She was a little bit of a ham. I remember getting my first camera in second grade as a reward for passing to the third grade. That kind of became a familiar theme in my family. My reward for doing something well resulted in a new camera. I had Kodaks, I had a Polaroid Swinger, which was my favorite, and several Instamatics before I purchased my own SLR with my own money in college. There was something about capturing raw images that made me feel so empowered. Now, some 50 years later, I still feel that same sense of excitement and empowerment whenever I capture that money shot. It could be some random person on the subway or a portrait for one of my books. And even though I've been shooting now for about 3 decades, I always strive to be better. I always tell my students at USC, I can't make you be a great photographer. I can't make you be a great writer. That's something that has to come from within. I do, however, encourage them to create a story in each frame they shoot and each experience they have. Could be a dead leaf on the sidewalk to all the untold stories in the eyes and wrinkles of an elderly person. I love shooting people, and I've had the pleasure of shooting people from all walks of life all around the world. My first book, Journey to the Woman I've Come to Love, features a portrait of an old woman I met at a Lamert Park Street Festival nearly 12 years ago. I chose her for the cover of my book over Halle Berry, Angelina Jolie, Nichelle Nichols, Leslie Uggams, Gladys Knight, and several other celebrities that could have really helped that book sell more copies. But that photo just spoke to me in a way that the others didn't. She was beaming with wisdom, pride, and self-love. And that's exactly what that book is about, loving yourself. So, other than my dad and my grandmother, my work has also been influenced by some well known writers and photographers. I've always admired the cadence of Nikki Giovanni. The way she puts her words together is like boom, 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 bam! She's got this really great cadence. I'm a huge fan of the work of Gordon Parks and Vivian Meyer and Carrie Mae Weems and Jean Ash and Michelle Agans and Nick Utt and Kara Owsley, Barbara Davison, Monetta Sleet, and Angela Pancrazio, Marcus Yam, and Margaret Bourke-White, and so many more. My hope, however, is that I can add more people to that list, particularly women of color. Photojournalism is still a male-dominated field, but the time is right for you young women to make your move, especially now that you don't need a $5,000 camera to capture compelling images anymore. You can create some real magic with your $500 smartphone. And speaking of smartphones, they've created opportunities for novice photographers to post photos instantly to IG, Twitter, and Facebook. But more importantly, some of those posts have been instrumental in documenting the current wave of social injustice in this country. Thank God for that technology, because it is forcing America and Americans to face the truth of who we are and what we are doing to each other. My goal as an educator is to use my gifts to challenge the way people think. Different races and genders and ethnicities see things through different lenses. It's absolutely crucial at this point in time in this climate that we create opportunities for people who do observe things differently so that we might all learn from each other. Embrace the fact that we are all different and trust that diversity is truly a wonderful thing. As young women, you need to continue to pursue your passions and know that despite the best efforts of the more enlightened among us in this industry, the door is still simply ajar. Please, please, please have the courage of your convictions and know that every step you take has been ordered, and those steps will open that door a little wider. As women in this industry, we aren't where we want to be, where we should be, or where we need to be, but we definitely are not where we once were. As Murray Evers once told me, we've won some battles, but the war rages on. Keep fighting, keep creating, keep believing, keep standing on the shoulders of your ancestors, and know that your older sisters and aunties have given you an open invitation to hitch a ride on our backs as well. Thank you so much to Black Women Film Network for this award and all the work that you do to create opportunities for all of us queens. I'd like to thank God for my gifts, my ancestors who continue to watch over me, my USC colleagues, my USC Annenberg family for your consistent support, my friends from around the globe, my students for exploring places outside their comfort zones, my dog Rosa for all the joy she brings me, and a special thanks to the late Bob and Nancy Maynard for initially giving me the opportunity to soar beyond my wildest dreams. Thank you all so much.